Salamat Siang! I'm Grace Barot, a BS Tourism Management 1B student, and I'm gonna be discussing and we're gonna be discovering what's in Indonesia. It's tourism, geography, culture, and history. So, are you perky? As you can see in the visual, it's the flag of Indonesia. The upper part is red and the lower part is white. The capital of Indonesia is Jakarta. Jakarta's metro area population was 11,075,000 in 2022. Form of government in Indonesia. The type of government in Indonesia is unitary presidential constitutional republic, whereby the president of Indonesia is both head of state and head of government and of a multi-party system. The current president of Indonesia is Joko Widodo. So, Indonesia is located to Southeast Asia between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Its coordinates at latitude of 0.7893 degrees south and longitude of 113.9213 degrees east. As you can see in the picture, that's the Indonesia. Indonesia is in tropical zone. That's why in Indonesia's climate is largely hot and humid, with rainfall occurring mostly in low-lying areas and mountainous regions experiencing cooler temperatures. Did you know that Indonesia is the largest archipelago in the world? Indonesia consists of more than 17,000 islands, although some are very large and densely populated. Others are small and uninhabited. Total area of Indonesia is 1,919,440 kilometers squared. The highest point is the Puncak Jaya, measured 4,884 meters, or 16,024 feet. In this picture, that's the Puncak Jaya, the highest point in Indonesia. The language used in Indonesia is Indonesian, or Bahasa Indonesia, is the official and national language of Indonesia. That's their alphabet in the picture. The official currency of Indonesia is rupiah, which is issued and controlled by the Bank of Indonesia. 1 Indonesian rupiah is equals to 0.0036 Philippine peso. Garuda Indonesia is the flag carrier of Indonesia, headquartered at Soekarno-Hatta International Airport. The major international airport of Indonesia is Soekarno-Hatta International Airport in Jakarta. So, do Filipinos need a visa and passport in traveling in Indonesia? So, Philippine citizens do not need a visa when traveling to Indonesia. Indonesia tourist visa is free for Filipino citizens and stay up within 30 days, but must have a passport that is valid for minimum of 6 months from the date of arrival in Indonesia. The tourism tagline of Indonesia is Wonderful Indonesia. Indonesia is known because of their greatest Buddhist sites, and one of the most famous attraction is Borobudur Java, also the world's largest archipelago, which is the Indonesia. Perched among stunning terraced rice fields, Ubud is considered the cultural heart of Bali and one of the most top tourist attraction in Indonesia. Next tourist spot is the Komodo National Park. It's a national park located within the Lesser Sunda Islands that includes the 3 larger islands, which is Komodo, Padar, and Winca, and 26 smaller ones. Next is the Borobudur. It's one of the most famous Buddhist temple in the world. The Lombok's most popular tourist destination. The Gili Islands are an archipelago of 3 small islands, which is Gili Trawangan, Gili Meno, and Gili Air. Next is the Torohaland, or the Tanah Toraja, is highland region of South Sulawesi, home of the Toraja people. Toraja people is an ethnic people of Indonesia. Ethnic groups in Indonesia. As one of the most ethnically diverse societies, Indonesia consists of 1,300 ethnic groups with at least 95% native to the archipelago. Minority migrant groups such as Chinese, Arab, and Indian make up the remainder. Festivals of Indonesia. The festivals are Galungan and Nyepa. It's the major Hindu festivals of Indonesia. Galungan is celebrated by the Balinese to mark the victory of good over evil. The next festival is the Nyepi. Nyepi is a Balinese means Day of Silence that is commemorated every Isakawarsa or the Saka New Year according to the Balinese calendar. Tradition and culture in Indonesia. Indonesian culture is focused around the community with a hierarchy structure. Indonesians believe in the concept of gotong royong or mutual assistance and mufakat, which is consensus. And the national motto is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means unity in diversity. Jump Karet or rubber time highlights the cultural attitude. The life should not be rushed, every time has its time and place. Balinese people in Indonesia will prepare their offerings first in the morning, even if it means keeping all things to devote time to prayers. In Tanah Toraja, the celebration of death is undoubtedly one of the grandest and most complex events that people can witness in Indonesia. So they do not mourn but celebrate because they see death as the climax of life. Indonesia's national costume. Indonesian national costumes include batik and kebaya. Although originally those costumes mainly belong within the island of Java and Bali, most prominently within Javanese, Sundis, and Balinese culture. Since Java has been the political and population center of Indonesia, folk costume from the island has been elevated into national costume. Short history of Indonesia. Indonesia was formerly known as the Dutch East Indies or Netherlands East Indies, although Indonesia did not become the country's official name until the time of the independence. The name was used as early as 1884 by a German geographer. It is thought to derive from the Greek Indus meaning India and Naxos meaning island. After a period of occupation by the Japanese from 1942 to 1945, during World War II, Indonesia declared its independence from the Netherlands in 1945. Its struggle for independence, however, continued until 1949, when the Dutch officially recognized Indonesia's sovereignty. That's all for Indonesia. Thank you. The next country we will be discovering is East Timor, or Timor-Leste. As you can see in the visual, that's their flag. It has a star, black and yellow, and red color. Capital of East Timor is Dili. Dili's population as determined by the 2020 census was 1,956 only. It's a small place. Dili, the city of peace. East Timor's form of government. East Timor has a unitary semi-presidential representative democratic republic, whereby the Prime Minister of East Timor is the head of government and the President of the East Timor exercises the function of the head of state. The current Prime Minister is Taur Mata Nerwa. East Timor location and its climate. East Timor is located at Southeast Asia. Its coordinates is at 8.8742 degrees south and 125.7275 degrees east. East Timor has a tropical climate just like the Indonesia and heavily influenced by West Pacific monsoon and its mountainous climate. East Timor's geography. East Timor exhibits a mountainous terrain of the eastern half of the island of Timor in Southeast Asia. Total area of East Timor is 14,919 kilometers squared. The highest point of East Timor is Tatamailaw, 2,963 meters, or 9,721 feet. The lowest point is Timor Sea, Savu Sea, and Banda Sea. Language used in East Timor. The languages of East Timor include both Austronesian and Papuan language. The lingua franca and national language of East Timor is Tetum, an Austronesian language influenced by Portuguese, with which it has equal status and an official language. As you can see below, that's their vowel consonant, that's their alphabet. East Timor currency. The currency of Timor-Leste is the United States dollars or USD based on a declaration of United Nations Transitional Administration in East Timor in 2000. $1 US is equivalent to 55.13 peso. East Timor's air carrier and major international airport. Timor Air was an airline launched in partnership with Vincent Aviation in July 2011. It was the proposed flag carrier airline of East Timor. The only airport with scheduled flight traffic in East Timor is Presidente Nicolau Lobato International Airport. So, do Filipinos need a visa and passport when going to East Timor? East Timor is, unfortunately, not visa-free for Filipinos, but you can get a visa on arrival. However, a visa application authorization is also needed. Also, you need your Philippine passport. East Timor's tagline, Explore the Undiscovered. East Timor is an exciting destination renowned for its rich culture and beautiful beaches that have yet to be tarnished by tourists. The tourist spot in East Timor, 30 kilometers from the beaches of Dili, is Atauro Island, accessible only via boat ride. Baucau almost seems as if it could be two separate cities. In Old Town, you'll find Portuguese colonial architecture, while the new town hosts new buildings with an Indonesian influence. The next destination is Soy. Soy is the south coast of East Timor's main village, where the livelihood of most residents revolve around fishing. The Lautem region is a perfect mix of culture and nature. Almost defying gravity, the houses in this region are often placed atop narrow stilts built completely with thin bamboo, wood, and dried grass. Maldives is one of the East Timor's most popular vacation spots for international tourists and those residing in Dili alike. Next, the East Timor ethnic groups. East Timor is a home to 9 ethnic groups. Unlike the Indonesia, East Timor has small ethnic groups. The country is both multi-ethnic and multilingual, with more than 20 indigenous language and dialects in active use. Famous festival in East Timor. The Ramelau Culture Festival is the biggest culture event in East Timor. The 3-day occasion of social pride respect to Mount Ramelau, an image of Timorese pride and unity. So, the Timorian cultures and traditions reflects numerous influences of Portuguese, Catholic, and Indonesian and indigenous Austronesian and Melanesian cultures to bring on unique and colorful culture. Celebrations held at national and community levels are many and vibrant. Timorese society is also conservative and traditional with a strong focus on family, the community, and religion. Catholicism is the most dominant religion in East Timor. East Timor is conservative, largely traditional culture with strong Christian values. Elders, church, and community leaders are treated with deference. As a general rule, first names are only used among close acquaintances. Otherwise, use señor for men or señora for women. National costume of East Timor. The Timor-Leste national costume is tais, a ceremonial cloth that has been woven in the Timor-Leste or East Timor for generations. Short history of East Timor. The British governed the island in 1812 to 1850. The Dutch and the Portuguese fought for supremacy over Timor, and Portuguese sovereignty over the island's eastern half was settled by treaties in 1860 and 1893, although the latter became effective only in 1914. Japanese forces occupied Timor during World War II, when one of the most political parties there, Fretilin, gained control of much of the territory and in November declared its independence as the Democratic Republic of East Timor. Early in December, Indonesian force invaded and occupied the area, and in 1976, Indonesia declared it to be an integral part of the country as a province of East Timor, or Timor. That's all for East Timor. Thank you for listening.